Losing money is something that sucks for everyone. Whether you're on your last penny or whether you're Warren Buffett, well, nobody likes losing money. No one. However, in some instances, it is unavoidable. The one reason I am talking about today is obviously depreciation, because that is my bread and butter, ladies and gentlemen. Well, car depreciation, to be more specific. But it's valid for most cases. Housing, furniture, etc., etc. Just to remind you, well, my name is Sebastian from the UK, making a home for myself here at Westland Auto Sales. And in this video, well, I'm going to explain exactly how depreciation works, what it is, and how to avoid it in most cases. Right, first things first, what exactly is depreciation? And just a reminder, I am specifically going to be talking about car depreciation again. Sorry. So what exactly is car depreciation? Well, as most people know, your car's value is going to shred over time, but car depreciation is the rate in which your car loses value. And this is due to a numerous amount of factors: make, model, age, miles, and condition. So I'm going to show you which makes and models depreciate the quickest and how to limit depreciation as much as you can. Right, makes and models. Which ones depreciate the most? Well, firstly, owning more popular models such as Toyota Camrys or Tacomas or Honda Accords, well, they are going to depreciate much slower than the average car. And the reason being, well, it's because they're more sought after than the other cars. Which means with a higher amount of miles, you're able to sell them for a much higher price. But which ones depreciate the fastest? Number 5, coming in at a 60.3% depreciation over 5 years, is one from our boys in Germany. It's the BMW X5. And the difference from MSRP coming in at around $43,000, which is a massive difference. I mean, every mile is costing you boatloads of cash. Coming in at number 4 and beating out the BMW X5 by just a single %, this car has an average difference from MSRP of $51,000. The Maserati Ghibli. Oh my god. Sheesh. You might as well just start setting your money on fire. If you're thinking about buying one of these, just, take your water cash, take your lighter, and just... Right. Number 3, and how much money can you possibly lose after seeing those first two? I mean, can't be much of a difference, surely. Well, this car loses on average about $64,000 if you're buying it brand new. Oh my god, that is a ton of money. Also, it's another Beamer. It's the BMW 7 Series. These BMWs don't seem like the best investments ever, I'm not gonna lie. It's starting to look a little bit like my stock market investments. Jeez. Alright. And while this car in second place doesn't lose quite as much as the previous 3 on this list, it is indeed another BMW. It's an i3, and it still loses about $33,000. But the reason it doesn't lose as much is because, well, if it lost any more, you'd have to pay BMW, because these cars only cost about 40 grand, giving it an average decrease over 5 years at about 63.1%. Have you noticed that there's a common theme when it comes to depreciation? And that is, well, don't buy a BMW, please. No, but aside from that, well, these are all luxury vehicles. Both BMW and Maserati are luxury car brands made out in Europe, so avoid them at all costs. And well, the reason I give this PSA is because the number 1 car on this list actually doesn't really fit the bill. Doesn't really match with the rest of the list. It's a Nissan, meaning it comes all the way from Japan, and it's not luxury at all. It's the Nissan Leaf, the sister car of the Toyota Prius, and this has a depreciation percentage of about 65.3%. Yikes. So this comes in at the worst car to buy in terms of value, because while it only loses about $24,000, they only get purchased for around $30,000. So you lose majority of the car's value. What a waste of cash. Oh. But while you might be looking stylish, well, your wallet is going to be screaming at you. Alright, now, how does age affect depreciation? Well, it's pretty simple. The older your car, well, the more it's going to depreciate, and the less value it has. And the reason being is, well, because they are much less sought after than a brand new one. Nobody wants your 2007, Chevrolet Suburban with 400,000 miles on it. People want the brand new 2020 Suburban or Tahoe. Age, of course, has its exceptions. Classic cars like this. And no, your 1995 Ford Taurus is not a classic car. Come on, it's a junker. Coming down to Westland, I'll put you in something nice, don't worry. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about age. The older it is, the less it's worth. That's it. Now mileage. This one is a little bit hit or miss, because obviously different cars have different mile limits before you need to do any major repairs that are gonna cost you, an arm and a leg. But there are some cars that you can buy with ridiculous amounts of miles for ridiculous amounts of money. The Toyota Tacoma is a fantastic example of this. Like, when I go to auction, if I see a Tacoma there, well, immediately I know it's one that I want to bid on. But holy smokes, even ones from 1999 with like 300,000 miles are still just insanely priced. It's just daylight robbery. But they are also super reliable, so if you pick up one brand new, well, you can expect to sell it for a pretty penny once you're done with it. Lastly, there is one more reason that your car can depreciate: condition. General wear and tear, you shouldn't see too many issues, but something with a little bit more damage or an accident on the record, well, they are going to depreciate much faster, especially if they have one of those tasty branded titles. Which means, if it's salvaged or has any structural damage, the resale value will be significantly less. But it may also be a case of where you work. For instance, if you work in an area that requires you to go off-road, well, the car will take much more of a beating, causing the condition to go down, as well as needing the more expensive repairs much earlier on. Okay. Now that I've run through all the ways that your car can depreciate, I'm going to show you some of the ways that you can avoid depreciation as much as possible. Alright, so driving the car as little as possible, of course, keeps the value high. Do you ever wonder why people with a lot of money tend to have, a super sporty car, and that's their weekend car, and then drive something like an Explorer or a Tahoe during the week? Well, that's because they don't want to put a super high amount of miles onto the car. Keeps the value up, so that when they eventually decide to sell it, they can make most of their money back. And driving it less, well, it reduces the risk of accidents or any damage. Progressive recommends that you only drive your car roughly around 10,000 miles or less per year. This keeps the odometer low, as well as the risk of crash low as well. Another way you can help decrease depreciation is, well, keep the car enclosed. Whether it be kept in your garage or under a generic cover that you can pick up on Amazon, keeping the car covered is a great way to save you a lot of money. The reason is because, well, weather can damage your car quite significantly, and keeping it enclosed, well, it limits the damage from the weather. Having your car exposed to the weather elements can, damage the paint job, and even in extreme cases, it can dent the car if there's weather such as hail or snow. It can really ruin your car. Well, my advice, keep it enclosed, especially if you have one of those cars I listed earlier. Keep your wallet happy, baby. Last way to avoid depreciation is a simple one. It's just making sure that you're up to date with all of your maintenance. Oil changes, tire changes, yearly tune-ups. These things not only keep the car running smooth, but also keep your money up. Also, don't neglect the engine. Having your engine inspected every so often, well, it keeps you from having any underlying issues that you're not aware of damage the car internally. So get it regularly checked. It never hurts you, but it costs a little bit of cash. So I'm just realizing now that I haven't given you guys a tip of the day, so let me get one out of my system. Alright, tip of the day. Buying used cars will have significantly less depreciation. However, the overall value of the car is much lower. Whew. That one felt good. Right off the chest. Anyways, my sexy Americans, I hope that you avoid buying a BMW after this video, or a Maserati. Maserati is literally just a standard car with a luxury car price tag. Please don't buy them. Keep your money up, people, not your funny up. Know what I'm saying? That was cringe as fuck. Anyway, take care and peace.